Ukraine's ambassador to the EU has condemned fresh attacks in Kramatorsk, eastern Ukraine, which Kiev blames on Russian-backed separatists. They come just one day ahead of peace talks in Minsk, Belarus. We strongly condemn what happened. The victims of this attack were civilians. So the number of civilian casualties over the past week has reached somewhere around 300 people. This is a very negative signal on the eve of important diplomatic efforts to end the bloodshed. On Wednesday, a very important meeting will take place in Minsk. Many politicians in the EU and Ukraine describe it as the last chance. Of course, we can't expect that everything will be solved quickly. But at first, the bloodshed should be stopped and there should be a ceasefire, especially by the terrorists supported by the Russian Federation. It's extremely important. And after the firing has stopped, we can talk and negotiate diplomatically a provisional agreement. We're ready for compromises, but we can't compromise on one thing, and that's the territorial integrity and independence of the Ukrainian state. Do you see any differences in the positions here in the EU? Do you see a pro-Russian stance of some countries? What's extremely important today is not only the sanctions against the country that is the aggressor, but it's important for the EU to maintain unity. Moscow is trying to break this unity. The second challenge is to keep the so-called transatlantic unity. That's why we're reassured by the recent visit of German Chancellor Angela Merkel to Washington. What further steps can the EU take to support Ukraine? Until now, the EU adopted more than 20 different declarations about Ukraine over the past year. The intentions are good, but we need concrete action, such as providing us at this stage with military aid, or at least offensive weapons.